Richmond International Raceway. The fans are getting fired up. We have got one last race before the chase. And tonight on Trackside Live, we're going to talk about it all. We got Kasey Kahne and Brian Vickers, plus a whole lot more. Trackside Live is coming at you next.
Richmond, Virginia.
The last race before the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. And I guess one of the main keys to doing well here in Richmond is surviving.
That's right, it is time for some night racing here at Richmond International Raceway. We're outside here at the speed stage getting ready for a great Trackside Live. Fans are all here, they're ready, they're excited. We're gonna find out who's gonna make the chase come tomorrow night. It's gonna be a good time. I'm Rutledge Wood, I'm sitting in today for the boys. I'm sitting next to, of course, one of the regulars, Mr. Elliott Sadler.
How are you today?
Welcome, hometown hero.
Thanks for being on stage. This is great.
Awesome.
As you guys can see, that Larry and Jeff and Steve are on break. Rutledge and I are going to take over Trackside tonight.
It feels good. Steve's chair has a lot of presence, you know. I'm a little nervous.
Man, he's a good quarterback. He's got big shoes to fill.
He's the greatest, and you know that.
But you read such a great intro coming in.
Thank
man.
you.
You're a natural.
Wrote that right
Did
now.
you write that?
Anything cool happen for you this week?
No, nothing much.
Normal week?
Kind of hanging out. Yeah.
Nothing exciting?
Actually, we did have some exciting news.
What?
Actually.
What?
My wife and I are having a baby.
There's going to be
How about
a little
that?
Sadler.
A little Sadler. So we announced that Tuesday to all of our family and friends, and we're very excited about it.
Whoa.
That's awesome.
Hey.
Who's fussing it up?
Having a baby.
What do you think?
You're not going to let us in on the deal?
Are you kidding me?
We're ready. The team is ready for you.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, no.
Y'all do this to me every time.
You're in so much trouble right now.
This is Hammond and McReynolds. I know it sounds like a shaky law firm, but we did a quick course on how to deliver a baby.
Dr. Burns?
Help me.
Dr.
Dr.
McReynolds?
Hammond,
I need all
Dr.
the help.
McReynolds, report to emergency.
Y'all look great. That's nice.
Don't we look like we could deliver a baby?
Is that Dr. Rosen?
That's Rosen.
Tell him,
Hey, Larry.
See it? You guys,
anybody pregnant out there we can practice on?
you guys look fantastic.
Steve, you and
scary.
Jeff need those hair things. Larry, not so much. But you guys need to kind of keep your hair out the way. I love the glasses, though, Larry. Good touch.
Hey,
How'd we do?
Great read on the
You
open.
did good.
Thank
you.
Crushed it.
I thought you guys were a nationwide practice, not dressing up like doctors.
You mean they didn't tell you either?
No, they said they were a nationwide
All right, our
practice.
producer at Trackside told us, you and Rutledge, you got the show. You can handle this. The boys have got to do something else.
We did.
guys-
We were taking a quick course on how to deliver a baby.
Right.
Now, how did it go?
We're just finished. We got all the instructions right here.
What kind of
Boil some water.
advice?
Hey.
What kind of advice do you need to give me?
Well, first thing I got to do is boil water.
First thing,
I don't know why they always do it in the movies, though.
Elliot, first thing, we are not having a baby. Amanda is.
Amanda's
That's
having a
true.
baby, but I'm supporting, so I'm
You
saying
are.
we.
And
I wanna
the other-
say
the other
this.
Piece of advice,
Yeah.
don't allow us to be anywhere close by.
No.
One of the coolest stories that I have heard about a baby, you and Amanda are going to do. You're going. Let me get this straight. Now, you tell the story. What you going to do with a picture of the baby?
Yeah, you know, her family's kind of tradition is to do this. You go see the doctor. The doctor reads, takes a picture of the baby, puts it in an envelope, seals the envelope up. So we don't know what it is. We take both families out to dinner, so everybody's there together, and we give it to one of our nieces or our nephews, 6 or 7, 8 years old. Let them open it up and try to figure out what the baby is. And we all find out at the same time. And I think that's neat, where we're all there together and we all can share it in that moment.
Well, what we did, this is another little mission we've been on. We kind of looked at pictures of you.
Oh,
And we
God.
looked at pictures of Amanda. This is what we think the baby somewhat's going to look like.
Yeah.
Oh, you are in trouble.
Oh, you're in trouble if it maybe looks like that. I hope the baby doesn't look like that at all. But his hair, he's got nice hair, though.
And a good tan.
And a really good tan.
I had
But I
nothing
tell you
to
what.
do with this. I had nothing to do with that.
We are so excited, and it's been awesome, and all the fans have been so supportive of it all week. And I tell you, of all the cool things I've been able to do in my lifetime and all the cool things I've done in racing, that was the happiest time of my life when I found out we were having a baby. Absolutely amazing, and cannot wait till March to get here when it happens, man. It's going to be a great deal.
Congratulations.
Would
And
you
we're-
take the mask off?
He doesn't have
Hey,
swine flu, I promise you.
I do have one word of advice
Okay.
for you. One word of advice. All the way up through the time that baby's born, remember these words. You are the most beautiful thing
woman.
that there ever has been.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if she becomes 275 pounds. You are the most beautiful thing
Okay.
God has ever created.
Gotta
You
write
haven't
that
gained
down.
a pound.
And
You
Lenny
haven't-
told you,
you
never
look
to tell that
fantastic.
on air.
Okay.
Would you?
So-
It's so hard to take you seriously with the mask on.
He did a show with an animal on his head.
That's right.
Scalpel. Brian Vickers is next here on Trackside. Rutledge, you did awesome.
Thanks, buddy.
Trackside is presented by new Shell nitrogen enriched gasolines. Brought to you in part by Hankook Tires. Tame the road with Hankook Tires. And by NASCAR Banking, only from Bank of America. Your debit card, your credit card, your driver. Learn more at Bank of America Banking Center today.
Trackside, back at the Richmond International Raceway. Brian Vickers is a former NASCAR Nationwide Series champion. And as of Saturday night, he could make a serious run for his first Sprint Cup title. And welcome Brian Vickers at Trackside Live.
What's up?
How are you?
Good. Yourself?
I'm fine, sir.
Yeah. Oh,
How's everything?
everything's good. Yeah, no complaints.
Good week?
It's been a good week. It was fun running the dirt race. It was a neat deal with the troops this year. You know what Tony did for the troops was pretty impressive, and all the fans turned out. I mean, man, that place. Never been to a dirt short track with so many people.
Unbelievable, really. I mean, I mentioned as they were taking this picture right here, over 20 national championships and over 500 wins.
Yeah.
That
Wow.
group photo they took right there.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it, though? Was it a good race for you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I had a blast. It was my first ever dirt race in a car. I mean, I ran some dirt and go-karts, and I had a lot of fun. It took me a little bit to get used to it. Obviously, Eldora is a very fast and difficult track for those types of cars. I went and shook the car down at Cherokee, which is a short track, a lot of brake. You pitch the car, then you stand on it. It's a very different deal. And I get to Eldora, and it pretty much did me no bit of good. They're like, okay, oh yeah, by the way, you run wide open around here. I'm like, okay, great. So I knocked the right rear quarter off of it in the heat race, which I'm sure didn't help my aerodynamics any in the main. But I had fun. I think we finished 12th. So.
Brian, you come in here with your eyes on that championship. You're just 20 points behind 12th. But how important to you was that win at Michigan? You guys had 6 poles, and I could almost sense in your voice that you were getting tired of talking about winning a pole because it seemed like you really wanted to win a race to back those up.
I mean, absolutely. And the poles are great. You want as many as you can. You're the fastest on that day, but we wanted that trophy at the end of the race. The one at the beginning special, but we really wanted the trophy at the end of the race. And we come so close, led so many laps in so many different racetracks this year and last year, and even the first year as a team. But we never led the right one, and we finally did, and it meant the world.
I got to say, last weekend at Atlanta, your team showed a ton of guts by coming in on pit road, making the changes you made, get back on the lead lap, and come back for a strong finish to set yourself up to have a real legitimate shot this weekend. I mean, how proud of you of your team to be able to go through all of that you went through last week and be able to come out with the finish you had.
Oh, huge. I mean, you see right here these guys, I mean, what they did with changing an axle. I mean,
Yeah.
when I left the pit box and I felt it broke, at first, I was devastated. I thought it was like a rear end or a transmission. Maybe I lost first gear, went through all the gears. It was the same problem, but I did have a little forward momentum, and that's kind of how I figured out that it was an axle, one of the axles, because one of the tires was working. They said it was the right rear. We figured it was the left rear axle that broke. How bad the damage was, we weren't really sure. And then we came back in. They were prepared, and they got it changed. We never lost a lap, which was, I mean, as you guys know,
Awesome.
incredible.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we still had a good enough car that we were able to get back up through the field. We ran out of time, and we ended up 7th. But, you know, we had a really strong car all night. You know, but that's the kind of stuff that's happened to us a lot this year. You know, we had a winning car. We ran 2nd there for a while. We had a car, you know, that, I don't know, Harvick was really good at the time we were running 2nd. But, you know, whether or not we would have been able to win, we'd at least been a top 5 or a top 3. And, you know, we broke an axle. But the guys never gave up. They got it fixed, and it saved us a chance at the chase.
You know, I want to stay with the theme of the Michigan win a little bit, regardless of this chase, Brian. At the end of 2006, you leave Hendrick Motorsports to go to a brand new operation with a brand new manufacturer, a raw rookie as a teammate. I mean, the mountain couldn't have been any more steeper. You missed races in 2007. It starts coming together. But I guess as I was sitting at home watching you pull into victory lane, I could only imagine your thoughts. Son of a gun, we are finally here in victory lane after 2.5 years.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, you don't want to have to go through all those things, but I will say that going through those experiences made that win just so much sweeter. I mean, to look back upon what this team has gone through and the sacrifices it's made, and to build a team truly from scratch.
Yeah.
I mean, from nothing. You know, I mean, there's been teams that have been balled and rebuilt. You know, Tony coming in, and he's done a good job leading Stuart Haas to well, they're leading the points. Obviously, did a good job, but that was an existing team.
Yeah, you guys didn't have a screwdriver when you started.
Yeah, that was an existing team with a partnership with Hendrick Motorsports. You know, they get the cars and the engines from there. I mean, for us, it was a brand new. I mean, I was one of the first employees, but like you said, we didn't have a screwdriver.
Right.
It was an empty building, a brand new manufacturer. So we had our trials and tribulations for sure, and we went through a lot of painful years, or a painful year, especially that first year. And nobody gave up. You know, I mean, we made some changes. We got better. We continually got better every year. And then to finally pull in victory lane it meant the world.
You mentioned never give up. Since Loud 8 races ago, you guys have been basically, I think, on a tear, you know, with a 1 win at Michigan. But the impressive part has got to be 6 top 10s. You've only finished outside the top 10 twice, and that was an 11th and a 12th place finish in these previous 8 races. To put yourself in this position, I mean, you guys look like all of a sudden, you know, it's come together like a Hendrick team, like a Chad Knaus and a Jimmy Johnson. What happened after Loudon that gave you this? I mean, from 35th, all of a sudden you run in the top 10 every week.
I wish I knew exactly what it was. We'd make sure we didn't lose it. You know, I mean, it still goes back to hard work. I think as a team, you know, as an organization, we're 2.5 years old, and we've grown a lot, and we've learned a lot, and we've you know, built a lot of depth in the team and a lot of notes. And we're finally starting to utilize some of that stuff, some of our telemetry and sim and 7-post, and finally starting to use some of our tools, and they're useful in the engineering, and everybody's done their part. We're bringing good cars to the racetrack. And this year it was kind of a, you know, waiting for the team to really gel. We've got a lot of really good people on the 83, the road crew, and the whole organization for that matter. But when you bring new people in on a team, a crew chief, and you know, race engineer and stuff, it takes time to kind of settle into, you know, I know what he's going to say, he knows what I want, you know, that kind of thing. And I think it just really started to click, you know, and you know, Ryan and I, the communication was good. The communication between the team and the race shop, and how the cars got to the racetrack, just all of it really just kind of started to click. I don't think it was one thing like a light bulb went off, or you know, we found something, some magic component that made us go fast. I think it was just everything just finally starting to work together and build a great team.
We use computer simulation a lot to improve this show.
And it really worked.
7-post shaker too.
Wow.
Yeah.
More with Brian Vickers coming up. To locate campgrounds near the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, visit GoRVing.com. You'll also find virtual RV tours, a free DVD offer at RV dealer and rental locations in your area. Tomorrow on Speed, after dominating Iowa, Mike Skinner sets his sights on a championship battle, but Ron Hornaday stands in his way. The two veterans battle beneath the arch in St. Louis as the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series heads to Gateway. Live coverage beginning at 2 Eastern, NASCAR on Speed, and that is tomorrow. We are back with Brian Vickers, and it's time to open up that big old shell garage and take a ride around this Richmond International Raceway. Brian?
Yeah, where do I start? This is coming out of turn 4 here, getting ready to come to the green. In a qualifying lap, it's actually pretty important. You know, the speed you carry to the green to get down into turn 1. You turn down a 1, you got to be really careful getting to 1 here. The car can really get loose. As a rookie, I've tore some cars up there. I don't know if you did or not. But coming out of 2, it gets really tight. It's a D-shaped 3/4 mile. Same thing going down into turn 3. Really tight entry there, and then the track really opens up coming off.
Going into turn 1 like Brian, it's very easy to overdrive the corner. You want to try to get your car turned because turn 2 just falls away from you so fast right here, and that outside wall can really sneak up to you in a hurry. Going into turn 3, you want to try to get it turned and use as much as this front straightaway as you can. A lot of the cars I was around today, Brian, off of turn 4 right here was getting pretty loose. I'm thinking tomorrow night on long runs and stuff like that, forward bite's going to come into play, and also getting your car turning in the center. Actually, how was your car?
I saw the 083 pointed to the infield one time off turn 2 big time.
Yeah, it jumped out from under me there for a little bit. I thought I was still up at Eldora.
Hey,
hold on to it. Oh, easy.
Yeah, found your limit.
Yeah, absolutely. No, mainly we fought tight in the center. Well, we started out practice trying something different, and now that we don't test anymore, it's hard to really try stuff, and it didn't work out for us. So we went back to more of a conventional deal and stuff that we've run well here in the past with, and the car was pretty good from that point on, mainly just a little tight in the center, good in, good off. But you're right, a lot of guys, including myself, out towards the wall at forward. And that's always kind of been a little bit here. You'll go wide open, and right out the wall, you have to roll out of it a little bit. It starts to spin the tires. Seems like it gets worse and worse every year. It just gets a little worse.
Roll out of it.
You might try that.
I haven't thought of that.
Yeah, thought about that.
Write that down.
Make a note.
Got it.
Lift.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Roll out.
Brian, with all of this kind of coming down to this one final race, normally you like to have a lot of fun, and I'm sure being down in Fort Lauderdale or up in New York, just doing things, having a kind of like away from the racetrack. But are you spending more time in the Charlotte area at the shop, getting ready for what's going on here, or?
Yeah, to a certain extent. I mean, I'm always trying to spend time in the shop, whether it be, 1 day a week or 2 days, or sometimes I'll be gone for a week or two, and then I'll be in the shop all week, and just really to be there for the guys. For the most part, they don't want me there too much because I tend to just mess things up. And
most drivers do, just so you know, you're not by yourself.
Okay, that's not just me. That's perfect.
Been there, done that.
It goes all the way back to Darrell Walton. I can attest.
Okay, I'm just there for moral support.
Yeah.
They don't let me actually touch anything. But no, I mean, obviously I do debriefs and meetings every week with the team, the crew chief, and talking about setups and what we can do and what I need out of the car, what we can do better next time we come back to this track we just ran, and what I feel like we need going into the next race. Definitely spending some time at the shop, but there's always that fine balance between, as a driver when you're in the shop, very little work gets done by the crew, and if you do anything, it's usually wrong. And then there's also that balance of just trying to get away a little bit, clear your mind. So when you get to the racetrack, you're pumped, you're excited to be here, you're anxious to get out on the racetrack, and you're focused.
Brian, you do a little bit of Nationwide Series racing, and obviously you're always very competitive driving for Todd Braun. I've said all along, he probably has the strongest standalone Nationwide Series team in that garage area. At Michigan about a month ago, quite the race with Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski. I stand behind you. I really have a problem when somebody complains about you racing them hard.
Yeah. No, I mean, a hard race is a hard race. It's, I don't know if I'm supposed to pull over and let somebody else win. I didn't realize that was what I was put there to do. I'm there to win, and as long as it's good, clean, hard racing, it is what it is. And it's unfortunate that he handled that way, and I appreciate your support and agreeing with the situation. I love what I do, and I want to win bad, but there's a line. There's just a certain way that you should handle yourself.
And that's the two guys that you just saw there that will be battling Matt Kenseth for that 12th spot tomorrow night.
I love the post-race press conference. You guys are sitting right next to each other.
And never looking at each other.
Never look, just look, sit there.
Oh, and by the way, the next week at Bristol, they were in a pickup truck together during.
Isn't it funny how fate works that way? Every time. I'm sure you've experienced the same thing.
And they're still parked beside each other in the garage.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Whatever. That's just what life is. When I went in the conference room, I had a choice between the chair, between us or right next to him. I just want to sit right there.
There you go.
Excellent. We'll have more with Brian Vickers when Trackside Live continues. Coming up a little bit later on, Kasey Kahne joins us here on Speed. Trackside Live back at the Richmond International Raceway. Tomorrow night after 400 laps, we'll finally find out which 12 drivers will be in the 2009 Sprint Cup Championship race. We're back with Brian Vickers, who wants to be in that parade. But Brian, you strike me as a guy, you talked about getting away from racing for a little bit to freshen up your mind, as a guy who has a lot of different interests.
I do. You know, my first interest and passion has always been racing. But, you know, I find that if I live my life solely in racing, that I just get burned out on it. I mean, it's just like anything. You know, you can always have too much of a good thing. You know, I like to travel. I like to I love adrenaline sports. Obviously, skydiving has been a new passion of mine. Stunt planes and all that stuff. I'll wait till you hear the latest one. I went and rode MotoGP bikes. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I had my knee on the ground at over 100 miles an hour. It was incredible. It was. I loved it. I'm hooked on them. It was a lot of fun. I probably won't get back on one until after the season's over. But I went to the Yamaha riding school at
Like you driving them or like a tandem deal?
They're like me driving them.
You driving?
Yes. Yeah, it was good. They really taught me a lot about the bikes, and you know, I definitely love to travel and experience the adrenaline rush of some of those sports and activities, and kayaking and biking and mountain biking and stuff like that. But I just like to travel in general. You know, I like to read a lot of different stuff.
Well, I'm not going to ride motorcycle. Skydiving, scuba diving, I'll go with you anytime, any place. But forget the other deal. But while we're on this alternative sports, I know you like to go to Bobcat games. But I understand you're also a Carolina Panther / New York Giants fan.
New York Yankees.
How do you do that?
No, I had to think of the Giants plus you enjoy the Yankees.
Yeah, I mean, you know, first
You
of all,
can't do that.
well, yeah.
That's like he likes Auburn and Alabama. That's
I do
illegal.
not. I do not.
That is a fan
I'm an
violation.
Alabama fan.
To be honest with you, when it comes to sports, I'm a racing fan.
Yeah.
I enjoy attending other sporting events. I do. I don't pick up the sports page. I don't really watch them on TV. But if I'm in town, there's a Bobcats game or a Panthers game, I'll go. If I'm in New York, I'll go to a Giants game or a Yankees game. I love the Yankees. I've always been a Yankees fan. You know, I love going to those sporting events. This Sunday, I'm going to go to the U.S. Open. So, you know, I played some tennis growing up, and I enjoy it. You're never going to really walk in the truck and see me watching tennis on TV, by no means. But I tell you, there's something about being at a tennis match, any sporting event, the Masters. I love the Masters.
A live event.
A live event. When you see a guy hit a tennis ball 130-some miles an hour, I mean, and they just sit there and volley it back and forth for. It's incredible. I mean, to see the best of the best play at the top level in any sport.
A live event, kind of like Trackside, right, folks?
Yeah. Absolutely. Just like Trackside.
Tape every once in a while.
Computer simulation.
I want to ask you one more question about tonight. Have you and your crew chief looked at the points and positions and try to analyze what you need to do for this weekend? And is it going to be stuff set up in your car, or are you just going to say, we're going to do our own race, we're not going to worry about what the other guys are doing? Or have you sat down with any kind of game plan to kind of change what you've been doing?
That's a great question. For me, I'm just going to go out there and try to collect as many points as possible. We're going to try to sit on the pole this evening like we did the first race, try to lead laps, and win the race. And, you know, if that means we end up running third or fifth or whatever, I'm going to collect as many points as possible. In the meantime, you know, Ryan, of course, is going to be keeping an eye on those other guys, Biffle in the 17 and Kyle if he's running good. Because if they have a problem, then that takes some pressure off us. He's going to come on the radio, I'm sure, and say, okay, you know, something happened to, you know, whoever, and now all we have to do is finish 15th or better or 20th or better. And that's going to completely change the outcome of our strategy. But for the most part, we're not going to watch it lap by lap. I'm just going to go out there and try to collect as many points as possible, not make a mistake, and have the best race we can have. And if they have a problem, then maybe we'll adjust our strategy.
Brian, I can remember a couple years ago you being on Trackside, and we talked about the tough times, and you've been a class act, so all the best luck in getting in the chase. And if you don't, it's been a tremendous year for you. Thanks for joining us.
Good luck to you.
Yeah,
Thank you
good
so
luck.
much. Thanks for having me on. Congratulations to you, baby.
Thank you.
Hey, coming up, Kasey Kahne. Meanwhile, I want to remind you that NASCAR Banking gives fans the opportunity to earn race points with their debit and credit cards. Race points can be redeemed for all kinds of things, from merchandise to home electronics. Go to bankofamerica.com/racepoints. Kasey Kahne comes into tomorrow night's race 6th in the points after a clutch performance at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, his second win of 2009. And welcome Kasey Kahne to Trackside Live, driver of the Budweiser Dodge.
Hey guys,
What are you up to?
I was actually just talking to George Gillette and a few of those guys, trying to learn some things, I guess.
Why'd you put on your doctor mask, Hammond?
What was that? What do you got?
Mark told me I need to watch out for Kasey. He may have germs.
No, I'm good.
You're healthy?
I'm good.
See, Mark, you don't know what you're talking about. I can take this thing off.
Why would I have germs?
You know what it probably was? He just wants to see if I do something stupid.
Oh, okay.
Which
You
it doesn't
answered
take
that.
a whole lot. It doesn't take a whole lot of coaxing.
Hey, you be quiet down there. How do you put up with him as a teammate?
It's tough sometimes, but
You know,
no, actually,
we feel the
me
same
and
way
Elliott,
here sometimes.
we've been friends before we were teammates, and then, you know, he lived in Birkdale, and I hung out with him once in a while, and then he had a house, and we lived close, and when we were up in the Point, we lived close together there, and so we've been friends for a long time, and now we're teammates, or we've been teammates for a while now too, and it's been good.
Well, before we get too deep into this race tomorrow night, Kasey, let's go back a week ago at Atlanta. You qualified second. You led some laps early. Maybe your car was not quite as good as that 29 car on the long run, but all you needed was a late race caution and a short run, and that's exactly what you got, because when they dropped the green flag on that last restart, the old engine number 9 looked like she was shot out of a cannon.
Yeah, it was. I was spinning the tires a little bit on every restart throughout the night, and then we got into turn 1, and the car just stuck.
Did you lift right there at all?
No, I didn't have to. I was, I think most cars did. I did it earlier in the race. I started on the outside and went around Harvick in the same corner. You know, he had an awesome car after about 15 laps, but up until 1 through 15, the 9 was definitely quick.
Kasey, you want to go back to the road course win at Infineon. I was driving to the hotel that Thursday in Sonoma, and I heard you on a local radio show. And the DJs, by the way, they want to know if the team kept Budweiser in the pits. You know what I'm saying? That kind of radio show. But what was interesting is they were asking you about the race, and you said, you know, I like road course racing. I'm just not that good at it.
Yeah, I probably said I like road course racing. I just haven't ever finished very good, because I felt for a while we've been pretty good at Sonoma and Watkins Glen. We've qualified well at both of them for probably about 3 years. We just never got good finishes, and we finally went from I think about an average 29th or 30th finish to boom, right to first. So it was a good win for us. It was a lot of momentum. It was a win at the right time. Carried us through the summer, and then Atlanta we won at the right time, and hopefully that carries us, you know, through this weekend. And if we run well tomorrow night, then carries us into the chase, and we have some good stuff going on.
That kind of leads me to my question, Kasey. As far as the media is concerned, the 9 car has kind of been flying under the radio. Not many people talking about you guys, but the win at Sonoma, the win at Atlanta, in the last 3.5, 4 months, you've gained more points than pretty much anybody in the circuit. That's got to be amazing momentum and optimism for you guys getting ready to get started this chase here in New Hampshire next week.
Yeah, for sure. I guess we've just been really quiet, because nobody's really said a word about us. And I know going into Bristol, the prior maybe month or 2 months, we were 3rd in points out of everybody. We had an off day there, which you have those once in a while. You make some wrong decisions as a driver and as a team, and had an off day, and then we were right back out at Atlanta. So, yeah, I mean, we've been quick. We just we're just under the radar a little bit, and hopefully we make a little more noise here for the next month or 2.
We'll have more with Kasey Kahne coming up. Meanwhile, it's time to go to our Bass Pro Shops tailgating tip of the week.
The Speed Road Crew lives for one thing, the race weekend. And when they tailgate, they do it in style with the help of Bass Pro Shops. Mike and Robin can flip burgers while proudly saluting their Martin Truex Jr. flags. Michael and Heather comfortably relax in their tailgate gear wearing driver shirts and caps, all while keeping their drinks ice cold and drink huggers. Everything you need for a perfect tailgate is at Bass Pro Shops.
Time now for our Inside Sprint Cup Mobile feature. Let's take a look back at the race here in Richmond in May.
Short track racing can produce some amazing results sometimes. That's one of the reasons so many people come out to Richmond. Anybody really could win this thing. Free flag goes in the air, and we are underway.
Now Kyle Busch gets a shove for Brian Vickers. Go tell NASCAR to take care of that before I do. Here's Busch, he's shoving Vickers. Contact, and both of them go up the bank. Never touched him, thank you.
Trouble right here on the front straightaway.
He turned Edwards around, and McMurray spins there. He'll complete the pass.
God, it's nice to have a motor like that.
Meanwhile, Kyle Busch is waving bye-bye to the field.
All right, man, here it is. White flag. Never thought I'd hear you say such a sweet thing.
Fans on their feet watching Kyle Busch splash by them on his way to Gatorade Victory Lane.
You guys are awesome. Good birthday, dude. That was freaking awesome.
Kyle Busch wins the Crown Royal 400 at Richmond on his birthday.
And that'll look at Kyle Busch winning here back in early May.
You know, Kasey, Richmond obviously has to hold a special place in your heart because in the spring of 2005, you sat on the pole, you led 242 laps to get your first career win, but I've got a feeling who ran second to you maybe even played more of a special role, and he was actually one of the first guys to congratulate you.
Yeah, it was. That was a big day. We had ran second in 2004, twice to Elliott. I don't know, I think 6 or 7 times in 04 we ran second, and then to come out and actually beat Tony Stewart, who had been a big part of kind of where I was at the time, you know, getting up to the Cup Series was, you know, felt really good.
Sitting there watching you out there doing your victory.
You look like a veteran with the donuts there.
Yeah,
look like a
that was
first-timer.
only, I had one good donut, the rest were not veteran type donuts.
Since we're talking about victories, me being your teammate, I understand what Budweiser means to you and how much they play a part of your life, but what does it mean to you to get those guys back in victory lane the last couple of years and now a great chance of getting them in the chase and being a big part of that?
It's felt really good because, you know, I have a good relationship with Budweiser now, and not just 1 or 2 people there. I mean, I had 6, 7, 8 people text or email or call after we win races like that, and I'm friends with them, and then all the wholesalers and people out there that support it too. It's been a great relationship, and it's nice to get them in victory lane. They get really excited, just like we do, and you know, that and seeing Richard Petty in victory lane's been great too.
Kasey, this sport changes fast from a business standpoint. I got a call yesterday afternoon, somebody said, what do you think about the merger between Yates and Petty? And I went, what are you talking about? I mean, it was a well-kept secret, but as race car drivers, and Elliott, same for you, I mean, your job is to drive that race car and represent Budweiser. When you hear, and you guys have been through several different mergers, if you will, does that even matter to you, or do you just say, hey, I'm a race car driver?
Well, the thing about our team, the 9 guys, they've always done a really nice job of blocking things out. And we've had plenty to block out over the last 3 years, 4 years, whatever it's been. So our team has done a great job of blocking things out and just doing our job. And it's nice to work with people like that. But yeah, you think about it. This kind of was thrown at us, you know, right going into the chase, you know, right here on the edge. And so yeah, it's something that everybody's thinking about, everybody's talking about. The employees back at the engine shop, at the shop where they're building the race cars, everybody's wondering. So, you know, it's a difficult time, but the 9 guys will go out and step it up and do a great job like they always do, and hopefully everybody can, and we can find positions for everybody as the year, you know, drags down.
You know, we were talking about your main sponsor, Budweiser. You got to go to victory lane like last week. How about when you were at Sonoma? And there you were in wine country, drinking wine, and not only drinking wine, but drinking wine with the king right there with you. I mean, how special could that be to get Richard Petty Motorsports back in victory lane?
It was good. We all, I guess, took, you know, one little pull off that wine glass, and Richard, I think he finished it. He took it aside, but myself and Kenny and the rest of the team, we were mainly drinking beer. We were mainly drinking Budweiser, but we had one little sip of the wine, yeah.
The king can drink wine, but you're going to drink the king, right?
That's right.
Yeah, he drank wine with the king, and Infineon last week at Atlanta coated the man in champagne.
Yeah, that was those guys. I stayed away when they were pouring it all over him. I was laughing. He handled it pretty well. He was having fun with it.
I promise you, he loved it.
Oh, yeah.
Matter of fact, do it again tomorrow night. Either one of you, would be happy.
Be just fine. More with Kasey Kahne. Coming up, the Trackside Live continues at the Richmond International Raceway. Glad you're with us here on Speed. Stay tuned to NASCAR 7 days a week with in-car audio, live race radio, stats, and more with NASCAR Sprint Mobile. It'll change the way you experience the race. Visit sprint.com/speed to find out more. That's only on the Now Network. Tomorrow night on Speed, NASCAR Race Day roars into Richmond for the final race to make the chase. Tune in as teammates Greg Biffle and Matt Kenseth join us live, and Brian Vickers sits down with Wendy Venturini for a must-see real deal. NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot. That begins at 5 tomorrow here on Speed. And don't forget the Camping World Truck Series race from Gateway. That coverage beginning at 2. Back with Kasey Kahne. And Kasey, from Brian Vickers was talking about getting away from racing for a while to get your mind right, so to speak. How have you dealt this week or the last couple of weeks with the pressure mounting coming into this race?
Well, man, actually 2 weeks ago we had an off week, and I was on a tractor cutting fields and things like that for the weekend, which was pretty fun for me. I haven't got to do that kind of stuff in a long time, so I felt good doing that. I just took the weekend off, did that, relaxed at my house, hung out at the sprint car shop. And actually, I watched my sister's son that night. He's getting ready to turn 2. And so I watched him for a night. And I don't know, I just kind of screwed off by myself. But that's how I did it there. And going into this week, we had a lot of media, a lot of good things to talk about with Atlanta, you know, the win at Atlanta. And that was a huge points deal for us coming into this race. So just, you know, talking about winning and looking forward to this weekend and just trying to do the same things that we've done, because you know you're going to be racing all 15 of the guys that were battling in points. They're going to all be right there in the top 15 or 18 all night long, so it'll be quite the battle.
Well, one thing you're going to do, I think, this Sunday to kind of get away from racing, but it has a great cause to it, is this motorcycle ride that you've got coming up. I love the name of it, Raising Cane for Kids. Tell us a little bit about that, Kasey.
Yeah, it's really neat. We actually became friends with some state patrol guys out in the Seattle area, out in Washington, and they wanted to put it on and be part of it. My mom and dad are also out there helping out, but you know, they've been working hard to do it. It's about a 3-hour ride up through up Mount Vernon area. I don't know. You guys don't know where that is, but it's north of Seattle. It's about a 3-hour ride north of Seattle.
It took me the first 3 years you're on the circuit just to say your hometown.
Yeah, it's about an hour from Enumclaw. So, you know, it's gonna be a good time. They have a band, they have some food, they have prizes and giveaways at the end of it. And
is this the first annual?
It's the first time they've done it. Yeah, and a lot of the state patrols out there, state patrolmen, kind of set it up and are working together on it.
You were talking about your sprint car team earlier. How the boys doing, Joey and everybody? And how many more races do they actually have left this season?
I think they have around 12, 13, 14 right in there left. Craig Delansky ran 5th last night at the Gold Cup prelim, and now tonight Joey and Brad Sweet go tonight. So you have 2 prelim nights at the Gold Cup. It's out in Chico, California, and then tomorrow night's the big night. And that's one of the probably top 4 sprint car races of the year.
Joey still doing good in the points?
He's doing good. It's close. The top 3 are all within about 60 points, which is, that's really close. So it'll be interesting with 13 or 14 races to go.
Any races you're going to try to make, or are you going to be there to watch?
I'm going to try. We have the 4 Crown during Dover, so that's wing cars and non-wing cars, so I can kind of watch all of our drivers that weekend. Hopefully we can make it over there. Maybe Charlotte when they're down in Charlotte at the end of the season, and that's probably about it. It's getting towards the end of the year, so.
Hey, Jeff, he's very involved as an owner. I'll go on this bus and he'll have a computer screen out, and they're calling the race, you know, as it's going. He's got his phone going on. He's getting reports from his brother the whole time. So yeah, he's definitely involved in what's happening.
Yeah, thanks a lot. That was one of my questions for the Lazy Boy segment coming up next.
All right. Let's segue to the break. Take us away, Steve.
When we come back, Jeff Hammond will have a lot of questions in the Lazy Boy Lounge, but that will not be one of them.
One less.
One less. Stay with us here on Speed.
Trackside is presented by new Shell nitrogen-enriched gasolines. Brought to you in part by Go RVing. Visit GoRVing.com to get started on your road trip adventure. And by Cheerios, good for the heart.
Next week, we go to Loudoun, New Hampshire, to the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, the first race of the 2009 Chase to the Sprint Cup. Join us at 7 Eastern for Trackside Live. Now let's go over to Jeff Hammond and Kasey Kahne kicking back at the Lazy Boy Lounge.
That's right, Steve. Just kind of kicking back, trying to relax here a little bit. And this is a whole lot better situation than having to deal with them 3 monkeys over there. First thing, you and Kenny Francis. I talked to Kenny after what happened at Bristol, and he said, man, we just missed it. Left front, however the situation was, it didn't quite was working like it's supposed to. But he came into Atlanta, at least to me, confident that he had the problem figured out, and he had a car there that could win. He just kind of reminds me of a poker player. I mean, a stone cold face poker player. I mean, he's just so cool under pressure.
Yeah, he's great under pressure, and you see Kenny in victory lane, and you get to see him smiling and having fun and all that, and that's, by the time he gets on the airplane, that's over with. He's already thinking about the next race and what we need to do there, and he's great to work with as far as that goes because he's so focused. And Keith Rodden, our engineer, does an awesome job too. They really work well together, and you know, I try to give him the best feedback I can, and we all communicate together, and that's a big part of running well on a Saturday or Sunday.
I'm going to go back in the direction Elliott kind of had you going off in about your Sprint Cup organization. Just got you a new shop built there in Mooresville, bigger. You've got, what, three drivers driving for you right now. Do you ever see yourself doing like a lot of other guys, like Kevin Harvick or someone, expanding and possibly moving in the Nationwide or even the Camping World Series?
I've thought about it, and you need so many employees and things that go along with that I don't feel like I'm ready for that yet. I really like what I have with the 3 sprint car teams, the 2 World of Outlaw teams, and a USAC team, and it's just the kind of racing that I grew up doing. The drivers are friends of mine that I used to race with, and that you know, I've met over the years, and they're 3 of the best sprint car, open wheel, dirt or pavement drivers that's going right now, and to me that's a lot of fun. We have about 15 employees, and we all work together and enjoy it, and it's a lot of work, and everybody works hard, and we need to win, and we need to run well, but at the same time it's not where you have 100 people and you have to keep everybody in line, and I think that's just a little bit tougher for me right now than I want. When
you say tougher and friends and everything, that kind of sounds to me like you enjoy being the boss, but have you ever had to make any really tough decisions yet? I mean, because you got your family, you got your brother there working. Have you ever had to call him in and kind of like say, now look, I don't want it being done that way now. You either got to do it right or I'm going to find somebody else that can do it?
Right, we've had our ups and downs with family a little bit. We're trying to get things the way that we all want it, but the thing is we started together, worked on mini sprints, sprint cars, and we've all really worked together since then. So we're all on the same page. We all have really grown together to what we have there and what we have over here, and it's been nice to work with family. And the hardest part has been, you know, as you go along, you hire somebody and you have to let people go, and that's been the hardest part is trying to do that and knowing that, man, they're doing a good job, but it's just not working here. It's not working with the way we run our teams, and to me, that's probably been the hardest part.
Just come back from Eldora. If there's a dirt track out there, is there a favorite one for you to go race on or to go watch?
I think to race on is probably Eldora. I've always really liked that track. The first time I raced there was 1999 in a sprint car. It was an all-star race, wing sprint car, and I've loved it ever since then. So to me, earlier this year we had an off week and I went and ran 2 sprint car races at Eldora. You know, going to actual races, the Kings Royal, races at Williams Grove, Chico, there's all these great tracks. Knoxville Nationals, it's a lot of fun for me to go and watch and be part of, watch the guys and be the owner and enjoy that side of it. But to actually drive, I like Eldora a lot.
Well, Steve, the thing is right now, he has a lot of fun running the different dirt track races, but I think tomorrow night is where it's really going to be coming into play because he's going to get an opportunity to lock himself into the chase for 2009.
All right, thank you very much, Jeff Hammond. Excellent job with Kasey Kahne. Want to remind you, tomorrow here on Speed, don't forget the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series coverage begins at 2 from Gateway, and NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot, at 5 here on Speed.